While having ADHD or autism, dyslexia, or any other neurodivergence, you may find it difficult to shift through paperwork or virtual information on the computer while trying to work as efficiently as possible. I know I do. So what I found is a tool I've been using for almost 6 months, and it's helped me no ends, and I know it can help you. It's helped my clients too. So Notebook LM by Google is a way of shifting through your information and querying it with AI. Let me show you with practicalities. So we come to the page. I'll have the link down below so you can click on it and get to this easily, and you have your different spaces, your different projects, so to speak. So here we new notebook. So you simply click on that and it gives you a way to input the information, drag and drop documents, website links, paste text, and Google Drive, so you can put in slides at the same time. For this demonstration, I'm just going to do a YouTube link. So if I click on the YouTube link, I'm going to go to my YouTube page, and I'm going to find a podcast that I've had recently. So I'm just going to copy the URL, come back to here, paste it in there, and then insert. It doesn't take long. On the left hand side, all your sources are here. As you can see, it's sourced up right at the top here, and as you can see here, we can rename and remove the sources. You can have multiple sources you can add to this project, but in this case we're going to keep it simple. So what happens here, left hand side shows you the sources. In the main window it will show you the information it has spanned from that source. In this case it's taken the transcript. It's giving us a summary of the transcript that is pulled in, and also it's given us links that we can create and query, FAQ, study guides, etc. So if I click the FAQ, it will generate an FAQ based on the transcript of this source, which is the YouTube podcast that we bring bringing in here. Also down here, while it's spanning the information, we can query it just like ChatGPT. We can query our information that we have sourced over here. So if we've got one source or multiple sources, it now talks to those sources and you can query those sources. In the meantime, we created the FAQ from the source, and as you see here, it's created those FAQs from the sources. In the meantime, what we have here, we also have a notebook guide. So we have the view chat, which is where we are now, so we can start chatting with our sources, and we got the notebook guide, which is what you saw here, and gives you a quick summary of how to get started and some suggestions of questions we can query within our section here for talking to the AI with our sources. But what is powerful is we have the audio overview. What this does is audio overview are lively deep dive discussions that summarize the key topics in your sources. This is an experimental feature, and below are some notes to help you get started. So basically, if I start generating, what will happen, you'll have like a mini podcast discussion regarding of the sources of this project that has been accumulated on the left hand side. And what we'll do, we'll see what will come back, and you will be amazed. You will not believe it. So while it's generating, we're going to go back to the original podcast. This is about a lady with Mona Jones that I had done a podcast with, and she's a specialist that helps many people in a positive way. And while it's generating that, I will read some of this summary from the source that we have here from the YouTube. So the source is a transcript of a podcast episode featuring a certified hypnotherapist, Mona Jones. Mona discusses her personal journey with anxiety and ADHD, explaining how these conditions, which she describes, as superpowers. So as you can see, it's summarized basically who she is, what she's been doing, etc., which you can get from most GPTs, right? So now we've got this completed. So it's now created this conversation. Let me play this and see how this comes about.
You ready to dive in?
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, so you wanted to know more about the link between ADHD and anxiety, right?
Right.
And how these might actually be strengths. Well, get this. We're going deep into these ideas with Mona Jones.
Oh, interesting. I've heard her name.
Right. She's a hypnotherapist and advocate, and she's got this whole new take on these topics that often get misunderstood. What makes Myrna's story so interesting is that she's dealing with both ADHD and anxiety herself. But she didn't always know that. See, Mona grew up in a family where it was all about being tough.
Now, as you can see, it's already started talking about Mona and her journey. This goes on for 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes. Let me just push it forward a bit further.
Work as a hypnotherapist.
And speaking of hypnotherapy, I'm really curious to dig into that.
Right. It's one of those things that can seem kind of woo-woo,
It gets that rap, for sure.
Yeah.
But really, hypnotherapy is about getting to that subconscious part of our minds.
That makes sense. It's the part that's actually running the show behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Even when we don't realize it.
Exactly. Our thoughts, our emotions, even our behaviors. It all ties back to the subconscious. And it's like we're on autopilot, and hypnotherapy is how we finally get to see the code.
Right, so Mona, when I had the podcast with her, this is what we were talking about. So, what this does, there's a conversation based on the information that it has taken, and it's in a way like a review of the information. So, can you imagine if you have a project and you're working on a project, you've put it together, and you just want a quick overview, and you want to listen on the go? You can literally put that project together, click audio overview, then you can have the audio and listen to it, whether you're in the car, whether you're working elsewhere, it doesn't matter, and you get some insight from a particular way with two AI speaking together. Unbelievable. Makes my life so much easier. It makes my life easier with this type of format, trying to shift through information on the project, as you can see here, and it just keeps things simple, and simplicity is the key. Now, this can be used for so many different ways and examples, and I just wanted to show you just the basics, and I will be running a series showing those examples in how you can leverage the power of Notebook LM within your life and within your business. But in the meantime, I hope this was helpful to you. Make sure you subscribe so when I do release, you will get notification and you will see the full power and how it can alleviate your stress, anxiety, and overwhelm when you have ADHD, autism, dyslexia, or any neurodivergence at all. In the meantime, sayonara.